Hello, everyone. Welcome to another video in our series on bowel cancer. In the last video, we talked about the importance of understanding the growth of this type of cancer and how it can start silently with polyps in the intestine. Today, we're going to go even deeper and cover three very important topics: metastasis, risk factors, and how we can prevent this increase in cases that we've seen, especially in the United States. In this video, you'll find out how cancer can spread to other parts of the body, what factors put some people at greater risk, and most importantly, how we can act to prevent this from happening. So, if you want to know how to protect your health and that of your loved ones, keep watching until the end, because the information we're about to share could make all the difference. Let's go together in this video on prevention and caring for our bodies. Translated with dpel.com, free version. In the previous video, we understood how bowel cancer starts and grows slowly, like that weed in the garden. Now it's time to talk about a very important subject, metastasis. But calm down, I'm going to explain what this means. First, let's imagine cancer as an invader that is trying to conquer new territories in our body. When the cancer is only in the intestine, it is confined to a single place, as if it were an invader that hasn't yet managed to leave its point of origin. This is when it's even easier to fight, especially if it's discovered early. However, if the cancer is left untreated for too long, it can start to spread. And that's where the problem of metastasis begins. Let's imagine that your body is like a city, full of neighborhoods. Cancer, in this case, is like a small revolt that starts in one of these neighborhoods, which, in the case of intestinal cancer, is the large intestine. At first, this revolt is restricted to that place, but if it isn't contained, it begins to spread to other neighborhoods. Metastasis is when this revolt leaves the original neighborhood, the intestine, and invades other places in the city, the body, such as the liver and lungs. To understand this better, I'll tell you a little story. Imagine you have a beautiful plantation in your backyard, full of fruit trees. One day, you notice that one of the trees is starting to rot. The roots of this tree are diseased, but at first the disease is only in that tree. If you act quickly, you can cut off the diseased part and the other trees will remain healthy. But if you leave the diseased tree there for too long, the roots start to spread the disease to the surrounding soil, and soon the other trees will get sick too. This is what happens with metastasis. The cancer cells in the intestine start to travel to other parts of the body, using the blood and lymphatic vessels as if they were roads, and start to plant the disease in other organs, such as the liver, lungs, or even bones. Now, why is this so serious? Well, when bowel cancer spreads to other organs, treatment becomes much more complicated. Imagine that now, instead of treating just one part of the body, the intestine, doctors have to look after several areas. This requires more intense treatments, such as chemotherapy and radiotherapy, and sometimes even more complex surgeries. What's more, when cancer spreads to other organs, it becomes more resistant and more difficult to eliminate completely. I know that talking about metastasis can be a bit scary, but it's important to understand how this process happens so that we can take the right measures. And here's the good news. If bowel cancer is discovered before it spreads to other organs, the chances of a cure are much higher. In fact, when bowel cancer is diagnosed early, the cure rate can be over 90%. But when the cancer has already spread to other organs, this chance is greatly reduced. That's why early diagnosis is so important. Now I'll explain how metastasis technically happens. But in simple terms, when cancer cells are in the intestine, they sometimes manage to escape through the blood or lymphatic vessels that pass through it. Imagine these vessels as roads that connect the intestine to other parts of the body. Once these cancer cells enter the highway, they can travel far and wide, as if they were in a car, and reach places like the liver, lungs, and other organs. When these cells reach these new places, they can start to grow and form new tumors. The liver is one of the most common places where bowel cancer spreads. This is because the liver receives a lot of blood from the intestine, and cancer cells can take advantage of this circulation to get there. Once in the liver, these cells begin to multiply and form new tumors. Another common organ for intestinal cancer to metastasize to is the lungs, because the blood that passes through the liver eventually goes to the lungs, and the cancer cells can hitch a ride on this journey. Now, if we think about treatment when the cancer spreads, metastasizes, the doctor will need to attack the cancer on several fronts. As well as treating the tumor in the intestine, you also need to treat the new tumors that have appeared in other organs. To do this, treatments such as chemotherapy are used, which is a powerful medication that circulates throughout the body, destroying cancer cells wherever they are. Radiotherapy can also be used, which is like very strong beams of light aimed at destroying cancer cells in specific areas. But the main point here is that the earlier the cancer is detected, the less chance there is of it spreading. And that's exactly why screening tests, such as colonoscopy, are so important. If you have this test regularly from the age of 45 or earlier if you have a family history, the chances of detecting any abnormalities before they become a bigger problem are much greater. And I know it can be hard to think about something like cancer spreading through the body, but I want you to look on the bright side. We're talking about this because there is a way to prevent and treat bowel cancer before it gets to the point of spreading. Metastasis only happens when cancer is not detected and treated in time. If you take care of your health, go for routine checkups, and keep an eye on your body signals, the chances of preventing the cancer from spreading are much greater. Now, to end this topic, I want to leave you with a message of hope. Even if bowel cancer has spread, treatments are increasingly advanced, and many people manage to live well even after a diagnosis of metastasis. The key is not to give up and keep fighting. Medicine is evolving rapidly, and new therapies are emerging all the time. So remember, taking care of your health, going for routine checkups, and paying attention to your body's signals are the best weapons you have against bowel cancer. And if cancer is diagnosed, don't give up hope. There are effective treatments that can help, even when the cancer has already spread. Let's fight this fight together. Now that we've understood how bowel cancer develops, it's time to talk about the risk factors that increase the chances of it appearing. These factors include age. People over 50 have a higher risk, but cases in young people are also increasing. Family history. Having family members with bowel cancer increases the chances due to genetic inheritance. Sedentary lifestyle. Lack of physical activity impairs bowel function and increases the risk. Obesity. Being overweight contributes to the production of inflammatory substances that favor cancer. Processed food. Consumption of foods such as sausages and red meat can increase the chances of cancer. Alcohol consumption. Regular drinking can damage cells and increase the risk. Smoking. Smoking directly contributes to the development of cancer. Inflammatory bowel diseases. Conditions such as Crohn's disease increase the risk due to chronic inflammation. Diabetes. High blood sugar levels favor the appearance of tumors. Controlling these factors helps reduce the chances of developing bowel cancer. So, as we've seen, there are several risk factors that can increase the chance of developing bowel cancer. Some of them, such as age and family history, are beyond our control. But many others, such as a sedentary lifestyle, diet, alcohol consumption, and smoking, can be controlled with lifestyle changes. Remember that road full of obstacles? The good news is that by making healthier choices, you can reduce these obstacles and make your journey much easier and safer. So, starting today, how about paying more attention to these factors? Exercising, eating well, and avoiding alcohol and tobacco are simple steps that can make a big difference to your health. And remember, prevention is always better than cure. Now that you know the risk factors for bowel cancer, let's talk about prevention. Prevention is like taking care of your garden before the weeds appear. Just as a house needs a solid foundation, prevention strengthens your health against cancer. The best thing is that most preventive actions involve simple, healthy habits that you can adopt today. Let's explore the main practices that help significantly reduce the risk of developing the disease. 1. Screening tests, colonoscopy. One of the most effective methods for preventing bowel cancer is colonoscopy. This examination is essential because it allows the doctor to see inside your large intestine with a small camera. During a colonoscopy, the doctor can identify and remove polyps, those little balls we talked about earlier, which can, over time, turn into cancer. The great advantage of colonoscopy is that it not only detects cancer early on, but also prevents it from happening, as polyps are removed before they can develop into something more serious. And you know what's really cool? This test is quick. You don't even feel a thing because it's done under sedation, and when you wake up, everything has been resolved. Here's an important tip. The recommendation is that everyone should start having colonoscopies from the age of 45. If there is a history of bowel cancer in your family, you may need to start earlier, at 40 or even earlier, depending on the case. And don't wait for symptoms. A colonoscopy is a preventive test, which means you should have it even if you're feeling well. You may be thinking, but why do I have to have this test if I'm not feeling anything? Well, remember how I said that bowel cancer is silent, and that it often doesn't show any symptoms until it's at an advanced stage? Colonoscopy allows you to discover any problem before it grows, and the earlier the diagnosis, the greater the chances of a cure. 2. A balanced diet. Another crucial point in preventing bowel cancer is your diet. Have you noticed how nowadays we eat more and more processed foods, such as salty snacks, sausages, fast food, and so on? These foods, which are rich in fats, preservatives, and other additives, can increase the risk of developing bowel cancer. That's why one of the best ways to prevent this disease is to invest in a diet rich in fruit, vegetables, whole grains, and foods that are sources of fiber. Fiber is your best friend when it comes to keeping your bowels working well. They help to cleanse the intestine, making it easier for food to pass through and preventing the accumulation of substances that can be harmful over time. Think about it. Your intestine is like a tube through which food passes. If you only put fatty and processed food in this tube, it will become dirty and can end up accumulating waste that impairs its functioning. But if you eat foods rich in fiber, it's as if you're giving this tube a good clean, facilitating digestion and preventing the accumulation of substances that can cause polyps or tumors. Here are some tips on foods that are rich in fiber and great for your gut. Fruits such as apples, pears, and bananas. Vegetables such as broccoli, cabbage, and spinach. Whole grains such as oats, quinoa, and brown rice. Legumes such as beans, lentils, and chickpeas. Including these foods in your daily routine can make a big difference to the health of your gut. 3. Regular exercise. Regular exercise is an effective way of preventing bowel cancer and other diseases. Exercise improves bowel function and reduces inflammation in the body. Simple activities such as walking, running, swimming, or cycling are great options. The ideal is to move for at least 30 minutes, 5 times a week. If you're a beginner, start with a light walk and gradually increase the intensity to build up the habit. 4. Maintain a healthy weight. Obesity is another important risk factor, and maintaining a healthy weight can greatly reduce the chances of developing bowel cancer. When we are overweight, our bodies produce more inflammatory substances that can increase the risk of cancer. That's why taking care of your diet and exercising are also ways of keeping your weight under control and avoiding health problems. If you feel you need to lose a few kilos to reach a healthy weight, don't worry. Start by making small changes to your diet and exercise routine. It's not necessary to make big restrictions all at once. The important thing is to be consistent. 5. Avoid excessive alcohol consumption and quit smoking. Another important point in preventing bowel cancer is to avoid excessive alcohol consumption and, if you smoke, to quit. As I've already mentioned, excessive alcohol can increase the risk of cancer, and smoking is one of the biggest villains when it comes to health in general. If you usually drink socially, that's fine, but try to keep your consumption moderate. The problem lies in excessive and frequent consumption, which can harm the body in the long term. As for smoking, we know it's not easy to quit, but there are various programs and methods that can help. The important thing is to make the decision and seek support to quit smoking. 6. Monitor the health of your intestine. Finally, one of the simplest ways to prevent bowel cancer is to pay attention to what your body is telling you. If you notice any changes in your bowel habits, such as diarrhea or constipation that doesn't go away, blood in your stools, unexplained weight loss, or abdominal pain, see a doctor. Don't wait for symptoms to become serious before seeking help. The sooner you investigate any changes in your body, the better your chances of treating any problems before they become more serious. Preventing bowel cancer involves making small daily choices, such as having regular checkups, eating a diet rich in fiber, exercising, avoiding alcohol and cigarettes, and monitoring your health. These simple actions are effective in keeping the bowel healthy and preventing the disease. Remember, prevention is better than treatment. Taking care of your health guarantees a longer and healthier life. So start adopting these habits today. Now that we understand that bowel cancer is becoming more common, especially in the United States, let's talk about something that many people ignore, but which is extremely important: the symptoms. When we talk about symptoms, the first thing that comes to mind is something like pain or discomfort, right? In the case of bowel cancer, the story is a little different, and I'll tell you why. Imagine that inside your body there is a battle going on, but you don't feel a thing. That's what makes bowel cancer so dangerous. It can grow slowly and often doesn't show any signs until it's at a more advanced stage. It's as if the problem is there hidden, and the person only notices it when it's already quite large and more difficult to treat. I know this can be frightening, but that's why we're here to understand how we can change this story. I'll tell you a little story to help you understand better. Imagine you have a house, and at the bottom of your yard, a weed starts to grow. At first, it's very small, almost imperceptible. You don't even notice it's there. Over time, it grows and spreads, but you only start to notice when it has taken over a large part of the yard and is damaging your other plants, your flowers. If you had seen the plant at the beginning, you could have uprooted it quickly and easily, right? But as it's grown without you realizing it, now the work is much harder. The increase in bowel cancer cases in recent years, especially in the United States, is linked to changes in lifestyle. In the past, people ate more fresh food and moved around more. With advances in technology and the food industry, consumption of processed foods and a sedentary lifestyle have increased, contributing to the rise in cases of the disease. Although progress brings benefits, these modern habits have a negative impact on intestinal health. Another factor contributing to the increase in bowel cancer cases is the aging of the population. In recent years, we have seen a significant increase in people's life expectancy. This is a good thing, of course, but it also means that more people are reaching ages when bowel cancer becomes more common. As we've already discussed, bowel cancer is more frequent in people over the age of 50. This is because as we get older, our bodies accumulate cell damage, and these changes can lead to the development of cancer. With more people living to older ages, it's only natural that we see more cancer diagnoses, including bowel cancer. However, what is drawing doctors' attention is that in recent years, younger people are also being diagnosed with bowel cancer. In the past, this type of cancer was very rare in people under 50, but now we're seeing cases in people in their 40s, 35s, and even 30s. This increase in younger people may be related to the same factors we discussed earlier: changes in diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and obesity. Another factor contributing to the increase in bowel cancer cases is the aging of the population. In recent years, we have seen a significant increase in people's life expectancy. This is a good thing, of course, but it also means that more people are reaching ages when bowel cancer becomes more common. As we've already discussed, bowel cancer is more frequent in people over the age of 50. This is because as we get older, our bodies accumulate cell damage, and these changes can lead to the development of cancer. With more people living to older ages, it's only natural that we see more cancer diagnoses, including bowel cancer. However, what is drawing doctors' attention is that in recent years, younger people are also being diagnosed with bowel cancer. In the past, this type of cancer was very rare in people under 50, but now we're seeing cases in people in their 40s, 35s, and even 30s. This increase in younger people may be related to the same factors we discussed earlier: changes in diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and obesity. In addition to lifestyle and aging factors, environmental and genetic factors also play an important role in the increase in cases of bowel cancer. Cases of bowel cancer, pollution, the use of chemical products, and even stress are increasingly being associated with the development of different types of cancer, including bowel cancer. Types of cancer, including bowel cancer. Genetic factors cannot be ignored either. Some people inherit genetic mutations that make them more prone to develop bowel cancer. If you have family members who have cancer, your chances of developing the disease increase. In this case, prevention is even more important. Colonoscopies should be carried out earlier, and medical follow-up needs to be more rigorous. The increase in cases of bowel cancer in the United States is a reality that worries doctors and specialists. But at the same time, it's something that can be combated with information and lifestyle changes. The main causes of this increase are related to diet, a sedentary lifestyle, an aging population, and a lack of preventive examinations. The good news is that you can do a lot to reduce your risk. Simple changes to your diet, such as eating more fiber and fewer processed foods, exercising regularly, and having screening tests, can make a huge difference. Bowel cancer is a serious disease, but with the right attitudes, it can be prevented or treated early. And remember, prevention is always the best way. Pay attention to your body's signals, take the recommended tests, and look after your health every day. If you like the video, please comment below.